What's up, my dudes? The ring I'll be making in this video is going to be cash money. Okay, if you're still watching this video after that garbage pun, I seriously commend you for tolerating me. Anyways, the point of this video is to show you guys how to make a ring made out of resin and shredded cash. So I found out that you can buy shredded cash on eBay, and from what I've been told, the cash is shredded by the government because the paper in it's become too damaged to have the bill stay in circulation. And then other people somehow get a hold of it and sell it on eBay. So that's why there's shredded cash available. So I bought a bag of it and I'm going to try and mix it with some resin and see if I can make a ring out of it. So I'm going to start by using some clear Alumilite casting resin. And you'll see at the end of the video that I actually did have a few air bubbles in the rings. So if I did this again, I'd want to use a pressure pot or a slower curing polyester resin. But I was just trying to make a quick prototype for this video, so I'd maybe make some of those changes if I did a follow-up ring. So you'll see I'm just measuring out equal halves of resin. I've got the A side and the B side, and I'm going to add the cash to it before I actually mix the two together, because I want to kind of experiment with it and mess with it to figure out what ratio of shredded cash I want in there. And so I wanted to do the experimenting while I wasn't under the time crunch of having the resin cure, because this is a very quick curing resin, so I've got very limited time and I wanted to save all the time I could to put it in the vacuum chamber. So now that I've got the correct amount of cash that I want, I'm going to go ahead and mix the two resins together. And you need to thoroughly mix it or else you'll have mushy spots in your resin, or you might have some other problems with it. Now I'm just pouring it into the mold. Now this is just a piece of PVC pipe that I've glued some wax paper to the bottom to, so nothing fancy. Now I'm just going to put this whole thing in the vacuum chamber, and this is going to help get rid of any of the bubbles that are trapped in here. It would have been a lot better if after I did the vacuum chamber I put it in my pressure pot, but I was just kind of in a rush here trying to do a quick kind of proof of concept. And so I didn't do that for this video, but if you're trying it yourself, I would recommend that. And if you're questioning why you're having issues, I'd say try to use a pressure pot. It's probably even more important than the vacuum process. So I let that cure overnight, and now I've got this blank ready to go. You can see some of the cash settled to the bottom there, and this is something that I was aware that would probably happen. So I'm just going to trim away at both ends of the blank, and this is so that I can have a perfect ratio of the shredded cash that I like. And so I don't want it to be too dense like it is at the bottom, but I also don't want there to be hardly any cash in it at all. And so I'm going kind of right in the middle with it. And then you can also see I'm just hollowing it out. I first used a center drill for that, and then I'm using a boring bit as well to continue to widen that. So after I've widened out the inside, I'm going to go ahead and mount it on the ring mandrel, and then I'm going to take care of the outside diameter of the ring. I'm going to trim it down to the size I want, and then I'm going to sand it and make sure it's perfectly smooth. And I'm just going through all the grits of sandpaper, so starting at 220 and going all the way up to 800. And that'll leave us ready for the final polishing stage that we'll do later. Now we need to do the inside of the ring, and I want to protect the outside because we just spent a lot of time getting that nice and smooth. And so I'm going to put a layer of electric tape on it, and that's going to protect it from the lathe jaws. And then like I was doing earlier, I'm just going to continue to use this lathe boring bar to hollow the center of the ring out. Now I'm going to use sandpaper, and I'm going to round those edges off a little bit. That'll make the ring a lot more comfortable on your finger. And then just like you saw me do on the outside, I'm going to sand through all the steps of sandpaper, so 220 up to 800 for the inside as well. Final step is going to be polishing the ring on the buffing wheel. So I start with a medium polish on the left wheel and finish up with a high polish on the right wheel, and then the ring is finished. Here in the spinning shot, you can see a lot of the intricate details this thing has. My favorite thing about it is probably just how unique it is. You definitely don't see a ring like this every day. There are a few changes I'd like to make for a future version of this ring. First, I'd want to find shredded cash that is made of the skinny rectangles that you'd see like in a regular paper shredder. And then second, I want to find a method of suspending the cash in the resin so it's not settling at the bottom like I was talking about earlier. And this might be as simple as just flipping the mold over a few times as it's curing, but I'll have to experiment to figure that out. And third, I want to try adding in more ingredients. So I could use glow powder, gold leaf, color pigment, almost anything, and that's where these rings could get really interesting. But that's enough of what I think. I want to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment if you've got any feedback or suggestions for me. What I'd really be interested in hearing is if you think I could make this a legitimate product on my website. So of course I'd have to make a few modifications to this ring in order to make it a high quality product, but let me know your thoughts because I think this has a lot of potential. Anyways guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Subscribe to my channel if you like project videos like this, and I will see you on Wednesday. My dudes.